The trend that's happening across the United States is happening right here in our communities as we continue to see the numbers of those who are living unhoused go up year after year, and the numbers of people who are experiencing a housing crisis, who are afraid of losing their homes because they can't afford it anymore or they have nowhere to go, also is going up year after year. When I joined the CSEI team a few years ago, I would go out into the community and try to raise money for our nonprofit to augment the grants that we have, because we need a lot of fill-in dollars, and people had no idea who CSEI is, what we do, and how many people we help year after year. And so we had really been looking for a way to engage the public, but also a way to share with people the critical mission that we provide in the two counties we work in eastern Iowa. And we came up with the idea of a photo voice, the idea of giving people cameras to tell their story about home and how they live. And we've just been really stunned by the photographs that we receive from people of all ages, all walks of life, all races, who wanted to be a part of this. And we were so lucky to partner with the Dubuque Museum of Art, because it was a showcase beyond our imagination of where we could publicize this and really get the community involved in what we're doing. And we have just been blown away by the quality and the caliber of photos that we've received, but also by the wide variety of messages and what home really does mean to people. And we were excited to do this because it was more than just sharing words about homelessness and the housing crisis, but it was visually sharing it and doing it through a really cool mechanism to do it. And the people who have shared with us their photographs have said more in their photographs than I could if I went around and talked all year about this to different groups.
So I first heard about the project from a former coworker who now works at ECIA, and I saw her kind of post about it, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. We just got to be talking about it, and she was like, well, you should enter. And we kind of got to talking about I have two young kids, and we kind of got to talking about that, and I'm like, oh, nobody wants a picture of my house. My house is a disaster. And she's like, that's the whole point. And so I was like, oh gosh, okay. And so, something that I really try to do and try to, help convince my husband to try to do is, when our house is a mess and when things are going crazy, if we weren't blessed with those kids, it wouldn't look like that. So yeah, we might have a clean house, but then we wouldn't have their little shoes by the door or the macaroni and cheese thrown on the floor. And there, when you think about it, is really beauty in that. And so I kind of just decided to embrace that and was like, why not? I will enter. You can't see what happens if you don't try. And so I did, and was excited to be selected for it. So.
Friend of the family, Jennifer Walker, I believe works for ECIA. I worked with her husband years ago, and she was instrumental actually in the FEMA buyout of a flooded out house we had in Dyersville, onwards of 10, 12 years ago. And we're friends on Facebook, and she saw some of my photo posts and kind of prompted me or goaded me to apply, and it looked like a great program. I was glad I could participate. Going back, within the last couple years, we had a family tragedy. My middle son took his own life 2 days after his 20th birthday. And I was a resident of Dyersville, owned a home, and I just had to get out. My house sold in 3 days, and I found myself homeless. And luckily, by just the way things worked, I found a rental in the country. An old farmhouse, goes back to the 1850s, and the family still farms the land, but it was available. So I wasn't homeless, but I wasn't sure where I was going to go, and was able to find this. I've never lived in the country. Grew up in a city. Even in the Army, I was always on a base. I was never out in the boonies. And every morning now and every evening, home is these beautiful sunrises, these sunsets. I have 2 dogs that we go to what I call the North 40, which is an open pasture, and eagles and deer and Bear Creek runs through that. And I've never experienced that. And it's being a former graphic designer and photographer, looking at it with that eye, I just saw such beauty and wonder, and it truly is home now. And I don't know how I would ever be able to go back.
Well, I guess I just kind of thought about it, and I realized that the theme was, what does home mean to you? And it's important to me, and I thought, well, I'll just give this a shot. Okay, there were 3 photos chosen, and all 3 of them are farm fields from, 2 of them at least from Iowa, maybe the other one is from Illinois. But I relate to these partly because of growing up on a farm and that being a huge impact on me. And also just the subtle colors, the shapes, the early morning, one of them is early morning sun on a farm field. And it just kind of was exciting to me. I guess I would like to share my appreciation for the Midwest and the Midwestern landscape.
The woman who heads up CSEI is a friend of mine, and she knows that I am a hobby photographer. So she encouraged me, as they were getting applications for photographers, to submit some work. I started looking through photographs. I didn't take a lot of new photographs. I looked through the recent photographs I had, and as I started sort of contemplating what makes my house a home to me, it really focused more on, well, on people. That was the primary thing. And so I submitted 3 pictures that were of people. One is a picture of myself holding my mother's hand. She was very, very frail and old, but of course she's my first home. And then I submitted a picture of my husband and a picture of my 4 children, who are grown children, but greeting each other in our house, all hugging. It's really a fun picture because they look joyful and happy to be together, and that's what makes the space a home, not just the walls and the artwork on it or the contents of it, but the people who are there. So the other 2 pictures I submitted, one was of my dog, who is the epitome of a lap dog, and it was him sitting on my lap, and we spend time each day in that situation, and that's his home, is my lap. So, and then the last picture was me working in my vegetable garden. So those are the pictures I chose.
My coworker Miles, we work together at the art museum. He has been a huge part in bringing the exhibit to the art museum. He's really smart and very kind-hearted and very adamant that you don't have to be a photographer to enter, because I'm not a photographer. And so it gave me a little bit more confidence. And I've kind of been focusing on like my jobs and not being as creative as I used to be. So it was kind of an opportunity for me to be more creative again. So my photos have a lot of miniatures. So I have kind of the main photo, and it has all these little miniatures in it, and each miniature represents kind of an important place in my life, or an important event, or an important person. One of them is like a little Commodore 64 computer, and I remember like my dad gave me a floppy disk and was like, this is a video game, and then I would like play on it like it was a video game, but it was a Word document, so I would just make pictures with like the letters, you know? And then I went to my friend's house and she had Sonic the Hedgehog, and I was like, wait, what? What are you talking about? This isn't a video game. So that's like in there. I have a little fish tank for my time at the River Museum when I was helping take care of like the animals there. It was really important to me. Yeah, I just have a bunch of little things. And then the other photos are photos of my family members and the miniature that represents them.
When I first saw the advertising for photographers for this exhibit, I'll be honest, I kind of misunderstood it a little bit. I guess knowing what the agency does, I thought it was maybe more homelessness and people without homes, and even inquired about, are you looking for pictures, you know, and that's a delicate subject. You want to be respectful. You don't want to just go around taking pictures of homeless camps, but and they said, no, it should be what home means to you. Not what it means to someone else, what home means to you. In my particular situation, what home means to me has really changed over the years. 5 years ago, I had a surgery that had complications, and there was a 5 to 10% risk of paralysis, and I woke up paralyzed. So what resulted from that was I had to change my home. The home that I had lived in for 20-some plus years was no longer suitable for someone in a wheelchair. So had to quickly find a place, bought it sight unseen while I was still at rehab at Mayo Clinic, and had to come home to a house that I feel like I picked, because it was kind of picked for me. It was about the only thing available. So then also being in a wheelchair, especially that first year, I was home a lot more. Was learning to adapt to being in a wheelchair, and wasn't working yet, didn't even have an accessible vehicle, so I was home a lot. And so when I thought about what pictures I wanted to submit, what home means to me, what the first thought that came to mind was my cats. I've always had cats, but I was a lot busier life when I wasn't in a wheelchair, and I was gone a lot. So the two particular cats I have now have spent a lot more time with me, especially at the beginning, and were very much part of my recovery, emotional part of my recovery. Because we spent a lot of time, it was being the cats when I was not going many places. And also having grown kids. I'm married and all of our children are grown. So like other people, empty nesters, your fur babies become your children. So when I thought about what does home mean to me, my natural thought was, it probably has to involve cats.
Excited to participate in something new. I think it's a good chance to grow. I'm a very busy individual. However, this has always been a hobby that I've taken with me wherever I go, no matter how busy I am. You see something that captures you, you want to take a picture. And I just like with that, made more time to make this work. 2 of them are pictures involving my wife and kids, and another one is of a tree up here at Dubuque in a darker setting. It's an average tree over on the bluffs that I'm sure thousands of people drive by underneath it every day. However, against the lighting, against the skyline at night, with the city lights behind it, it captured a very interesting, mysterious, somewhat menacing, but beautiful. I obviously was captured by it and how it stood out. Again, it's something that everybody drives by every day, but it's bold in its own way, and I think it shows that everybody has something yet to be discovered within themselves.
One thing that I really like to do is draw. Like mostly it's like vehicles or forest or mountains or maps. My mom asked me if I wanted to do it and I said yes. One of them was a dirt pile that I took, and the dirt pile I like to play at it because I spend most of my free time playing there, like every day. And the other picture that I chose, reading to my little sister, I just really like reading to her when I have to do my homework.
I heard about the At Home project through Facebook, I believe, I think I saw a Facebook post, and I can't remember exactly where I saw it, but I loved the idea of it. This particular year, after writing for 2 years, I'm looking for opportunities to re-engage as a photographer, and I've really noticed I miss the way I am as a photographer, the way my brain is as a photographer, and the way I'm engaging. And so when I've been engaging so much with words, I feel as if perhaps it's pulled me so far or farther into my left hemisphere, whereas I am a right hemisphere dominant person. So I'm that's really what got me excited about this was, I love group and collaborative photography projects and exhibits. And one of the photographs I submitted was of my son, my younger son, and my husband coming in the evening after going out and fishing in the canoe when we lived in Ohio on a lake. And it was very therapeutic for our two sons that were in high school to have all the nature around them and to be able to go out on the water after school and on the weekends. And so my husband and younger son would go fishing a lot, and they were coming in, and I was standing on a dock when I made that photograph, and the sun was setting, and it was dusk, and it was just a very sacred feeling moment. The other one is handprints. A lot of children make handprints, and they're not my children's handprints. They're something I saw probably when I was out walking with my camera one day. I'm constantly making photographs, and more often than not, I am making photographs with my phone. And I find that having worked as a photographer and a photojournalist for years with a DSLR camera, using my phone it just felt like a liberation of sorts. And kind of like, those cardboard point and shoot cameras, it simplified things, and it allowed my intuition and my imagination to participate at a higher level, because I wasn't stressed about settings or any of the choices you have to make with a DSLR. It's less personal and more, I think I selected that one kind of as a metaphor for the things we leave behind when we move from place to place or grow from different stages of life.